He's gonna have sex with his grandmother?
Great-grandmother.
Is that any better?
So now what she's doing is, that's like, jump on me, see? So now they are having sex.
The pigeon erotica portion of this video is over. And the reason we just showed you this is because this pigeon named Porsche 3 and this pigeon Liev are collectively worth millions of dollars. Their offspring will hatch in about 19 days and will be worth a couple grand on day one, and could potentially sell for hundreds of thousands of euros, if not more. Welcome to a world where pigeons are exalted and virtuous.
I'm Nicolas Gijzelbrecht and I sold a pigeon for 1.7 million euro.
Vermin, flying rats, gutter dove are all terms you might hear to describe this. Columbia livia domestica, better known as the pigeon, is the world's oldest domesticated bird. Dating back 5,000 years, it has been used as food, pets, holy animals, messengers, and most recently, racing. To get a better understanding of how a pigeon could be sold for millions, we spent time with perhaps the most famous family in pigeon racing, who run the Christies of the pigeon world. Nicolas Gijzelbrecht has birds on the brain. So does his father, as did his father's father and his father's father's father.
When I was 19 years old, I started in the first days of the internet with a website about pigeon sport. I didn't have the intention to make a business out of that. I just wanted to spread the news about pigeon sport. I did that for 3-4 years and it became the most visited pigeon website in the world. So then I asked my father if I could sell one of his pigeons. And then I thought, let's ask some other people to sell pigeons for them. Now we are sitting here and we have sold the most expensive pigeon ever in the world, and that was the start of PIPA.
So how do you race a pigeon? Pigeons have a kind of built-in GPS that scientists still can't fully explain. They sense the landscape, follow the Earth's magnetic field, and somehow never need directions.
Pigeons actually are called homing pigeons, an ability that they go back to the place where they are born, where they are raised, where they first fly into the sky and see the environment. The whole thing about pigeons, they only have one home. Pigeon racing starts with when pigeons are like 4 to 5 weeks old. You put them in a separate loft. Then they slowly start to come outside. They will fly and move to the roof of the loft, sit there, look to the environment. And when they are a little bit older, you can bring them away like 1 kilometer away and they will fly back home. When that goes well, you can bring them 5 kilometers away and then 15, 30. And then there are club races starting like I think from 50, 60 kilometers. From there on it's 50, 100, and I think from 100 it's immediately to 200.
While pigeons have been in the Gijzelbrecht family for generations, they first gained media attention in 1995 when Nicolas's grandfather Remy won the first ever Barcelona International, a grueling 1,100 kilometer race from Spain to Belgium. But how do they do it? Imagine being dropped in the middle of nowhere, unable to read a map and still finding your way home in under 24 hours, 1,000 kilometers away with pinpoint accuracy.
Dit is het moderne duivenhok.
Meet Carlos Gijzelbrecht, a lifelong pigeon fancier and seasoned expert in the fine art of making birds fly home. So we asked him, how do they do it?
De oriëntatie wordt vooral bepaald door de zon, het magnetisch veld en herkenningspunten in het land. Als de duiven vliegen, 50 of 100 meter hoog, kunnen ze gemakkelijk rivieren, de zee, kerktorens herkennen. En zo op deze manier vinden ze hun weg terug. Daarnaast is de zon belangrijk. Als de zon er is of schijnt, dan vinden ze gemakkelijker hun weg dan als het zeer bewolkt is.
These pigeons are so intelligent and they have such a magic that they can find their way back home. That this makes them very special.
The other key ingredient is knowing when to keep a bird and when to sell it. When Nicolas's grandfather refused to sell the winner of the first ever Barcelona International, he cemented the Hazelbrecht name in pigeon racing history, using that very bird to build a legacy of superbirds.
Dus hebben we cup dan niet. En die onze klankkinders worden er altijd binnen 20 jaar kunnen van genieten. Van die afstand mee. Dus zo je ziet, dat onder klankkinders.
That pigeon also became a super breeding pigeon, so his children and grandchildren were really good breeders, and still now descendants of that pigeon play a role in the pigeons that we have today.
Good care, smart breeding techniques paired with Nicolas's business savvy has made for a successful enterprise. On average, PIPA sells pigeons for €3,000, but weekly auctions can climb to much higher values. That's a lot of money, and to most, pigeon racing might seem like an unusual hobby, but its roots trace back to the battlefield. For centuries, armies relied on these birds to carry critical messages, flying incredible distances with unshakable accuracy.
One day he was bringing in a very important message, giving the location of a nest of machine guns. But in doing so, he got one of his eyes blown out. The eye on the right side, and not out of his head. After 2,000 years or more of modern civilization, no one has yet found a means of communication quite so dependable as homing pigeons for military use.
Instead of fading into history, they found a second life as elite racing champions. Belgium and Scotland became hotspots for the sport. Since then, in post-Mao China, a booming economy and an expanding middle class turned an old hobby into a high-stakes obsession. Pigeon racing, once a pastime of rooftop keepers, became a sport for millionaires. Like horse racing, it now comes with prestige and major prize money.
The pigeon sport was always practiced on a very amateuristic level in China. They started to organize competitions where there is a lot of money, prize money involved. So the more prize money involved, the more people are attracted to participate in these competitions.
There are races from 30 to 50 million euro in China, and every year there are new races starting in China. In China you have hundreds of one-loft races, so you have hundred thousands of pigeon racers in China. It's very, very popular. It's our biggest market.
At the heart of pigeon racing is a culture that outsiders may find difficult to understand. A culture of daily attention to these precious birds that borders on the obsessive. Races are not tracked by GPS. Instead, fanciers will look up at the sky and wait. A meditative and poetic sport with such high stakes that emotions take over when they win.
You're like that, you cannot hold it. It's a feeling you will never forget. Your children that are born, you get married, but yeah, sometimes you can say this is number one, because it's something, yeah, it's unbelievable.
There is no race that has all pigeons with GPS tracks so that you can follow all the pigeons. Maybe it will happen in the future, but it also a little bit of the mystic will be gone, because then you will see what's happening and you will know, okay, the pigeon is about to arrive, while now is a lot of magic and sensation is about, you know, you're waiting for the pigeon and the pigeon can arrive now or it can arrive in 1 hour or in 2 hours, so that's also a fun part. For the people who would call the pigeon rats, that would be probably the one thing that I would show them, that pigeons are not just ordinary animals. They are very special.
One more thing, we thought it was important to address the incest at the beginning of this video. As it turns out, most animals do breed with their kin. We asked Nicolas why they do this at PIPA to get a little clarity.
I grew up with pigeons, and it's something I always have known. For me, it's not weird, but I understand that for other people it sounds weird. Because the lifespan of a pigeon is short, so if you want to secure the genes, it's a good way to secure the genes. They call it a hybrid effect, with two different inbred strains coupled to each other in order to try to breed super pigeons. And but you have also the chance of having handicapped pigeons. That's one of the reasons that not many people also do it. It's just like we do it maybe once or twice a year.
Okay. So I guess I was lucky to witness it then, because if it's not something you do very often.
Yeah,